Okay, so let us start the class. Uh, I hope my slides are visible to you and my
Yes, sir.
voice is okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in the last lecture, we had talked about these quasi-Fermi levels, and then we also saw the various methods of recombination and generation. Right. Now let us talk about another important concept here. We had seen the electrons movement in presence of electric field, and we say that the electrons move in presence of electric field, so that is called drift. Drift of electron in presence of electric field. So another way of electron motion, so that is actually called diffusion or diffusion of carriers. Right. So electrons can move, or maybe carriers can move in a semiconductor in two ways, either diffusion or drift. Drift under presence of electric field, and diffusion under the presence of concentration gradient of the carriers. Right. So, when I say concentration gradient, so obviously that means, let us say, I talk about the whole concentration, right? So that means, this term, that is dP by dx. Right? So if there is a concentration gradient, that is the whole concentration is varying across x in a semiconductor. Right? So this is my semiconductor, and let us say this is x is equal to 0. Okay? And then x varies. Right? So this is my x. So the concentration of carriers inside this semiconductor varies with position. So then there is a gradient, right? So gradient, that is, there is a concentration gradient, that is, the number of electrons per centimeter cube in a semiconductor, it may vary with position. For example, this dP by dx. So if you have a gradient like this, then that means the electrons, or maybe holes, they will move from concentration where the high concentration is present to the lower concentration region, right? So the movement of carriers from high concentration region to lower concentration region is called diffusion. So in fact, this diffusion analogy can be understood by another analogy. Let us say we have a glass of water. So I have a glass of in fact a glass. So in this glass I cannot keep water like this, right? So here you will see that water molecules concentration gradient is more here, and the concentration gradient of the water molecules is not concentration gradient, the concentration of water molecule is more here in comparison to this point, right? So we have a concentration gradient of water molecule here, that is different in concentration. Here it is large, here it is small. So obviously the water, water cannot be kept in a glass like this. So eventually, this water will try to level itself. That is, the concentration of water with X. So that will be constant eventually, right? So let us say these are H2O molecules or water, and this is a glass, right? So you cannot hold water in a glass like this unless you tilt it. Okay. So if the glass is like this, standing straight, vertical to the ground, you cannot keep water like this. Eventually water will level itself, that is concentration of water in this glass will be constant. Okay. So similar thing applies to the carriers inside the semiconductors also. So if you have a concentration gradient, that is the carriers vary with position inside the semiconductor, for example this dP by dx, or maybe the concentration of electron varying with position. If you have a gradient, so that means the carriers will now move from the region of high concentration to the region of low concentration, and this is called diffusion. Okay. Maybe I'll rub everything now. So this diffusion of electron and hole concentrations, they vary with position in the sample. Okay. And any gradient in electrons or holes, so that results into a net motion of the carriers from region of higher carrier concentration to regions of lower carrier concentration, right? So this is called actually diffusion, right? And there are two processes of current conduction. One process is diffusion due to, and the diffusion due to carrier gradient, and the other is drift in presence of electric field. And this diffusion of carrier, so that is actually due to the random thermal motion of electrons or maybe holes, and also due to scattering from lattice and scattering from impurities. So we understand that since the carriers are continuously moving inside the semiconductor, they move randomly in a zigzag fashion, they collide also, and then they scatter also, right? So the diffusion obviously has to be related with the random thermal motion of the carriers and also scattering from the lattice due to also impurities. Right? So now let us consider an example, and let us say that I have again a semiconductor. Let's say we have a semiconductor, okay, and we try to inject electrons at this point. So we try to inject electrons, and let us say the injection is very sharp, okay, so that I have a pulse of electrons in this region only, right? So that is in this region, very small region, I have an impulse of electrons. So for example here, right, that is I have the electron concentration present only in this region, very small region, right, at t is equal to 0. Right? So I say I have an impulse of electron concentration at, let us say this is x is equal to 0 point. Now with time, right? So since we have a very high concentration of electron around this edge, okay, inside the semiconductor, and I don't have any concentration in these regions and also in these regions. Right? So the concentration of electron in these two regions is almost negligible. I'll write small or maybe negligible. Okay. So in these two regions, the concentration is almost negligible or very small. Okay. But in this region, the concentration of electron is very high. Okay. So this is very high. So obviously now I have two regions. One is having a concentration, high concentration of electrons, and the other two are having a concentration of electron which is small. Right? So I have two regions. So obviously, as per the definition of diffusion, the carriers will diffuse or move from a region of high concentration to a region of low concentration, small or low, let us call. Okay. So obviously that means diffusion will happen here. That is, the carriers will diffuse from the center of this semiconductor towards left, and also they will diffuse towards right. Okay. The carriers will diffuse, right? So which has been shown over here. So with time t, let us say, so when time t1 passes, I have a carrier diffusion in the left, towards the left of this x is equal to 0, and also towards the right. Okay. Similarly, further when time passes, let's say t2, so I see that further this diffusion process. Okay. So this changes again the concentration profile, concentration of carrier profile inside the semiconductor. Right. So since they are diffusing, so obviously that means this Nx is becoming constant slowly. Right. Further at T3, this Nx has further, that is concentration of electron inside the semiconductor, this has further become little bit flat. And after some more time, you will see it will further become, straight. Nx will become, that is, this function will become, carrier concentration function with x will become constant. Now, let us consider only this portion. Maybe I'll take another ink over here. Let us consider only, let us say, this portion of my, concentration gradient, right? Or maybe let us select this T21, that is this one, right? This curve let us select, that is the concentration gradient profile. Okay. So we have plotted the same over here with x, right? That is at T2, I had this concentration gradient profile. So I have plotted the same here. Okay. Now let us also divide this concentration gradient profile into segments, right? So these are all segments of length equal to L bar, right? So let us divide this concentration gradient profile into these segments. These rectangular blocks are actually segments of length L. That is, this spacing is my L bar, where L bar is the electron mean free path. So we understood mean free time also and mean free path also. So mean free path is the path that the electrons will move before it recombines or before it meets a collision. Right? So let us divide this into segments of length L bar, where L bar is the mean free path for the electrons. Okay? Now further, when you zoom only this much portion, or when you expand this portion, you get this one, this picture. Let us say we zoom this portion, so we arrive at this picture. Okay. Now let us mark x naught at the center of these two blocks, that is 1 and 2. Maybe this one was 1 and this was 2. Okay. So let us mark x naught point at the center of 1 and 2. Okay. And since this is L bar, this much is L bar. So obviously that means this point will be x naught minus L bar, and this point will be x naught plus L bar. Okay. Now, since the electrons are diffusing, okay, now if somebody wants to calculate the net carrier movement across this plane x naught, right, that is at this point, how many electrons are crossing this point, or net carrier movement at x naught, right? So one has to also understand that the electrons, when they move from segment number 1, right? So that motion is since random and also due to scattering, due to collisions. So there are equal chances that the electron from segment 1, half of the electrons of segment 1 can move towards right, and half can move towards left, right? So there are equal probabilities of electron diffusion or electron movement from left to right and also from right to left. That is, half of the electrons from segment number 1 can move to segment number 2, and half of the electrons can move towards left to some other segment, right? If I have some other segment, so half of these electrons will move to other segments. Similarly, for segment number 2, the electrons have equal probability of, half of the electrons can move to segment number 1 and half can move towards right to some other segment. Okay, maybe segment number 3, let us say, right? Since this is random, right? The motion is random of electrons, so they can move towards left or right from segment number 1 to 2, or maybe from 1 to towards the left. So if somebody tries to find out the net number of electrons crossing or passing this plane at x naught, right? That is net number of electron passing x naught, right? So net number of electron passing x naught would be equal to 0, okay? Because the electrons are crossing, equal number of electrons are crossing from left to right, and equal number of electrons are crossing from right to left. Okay? So that means there is no net directional movement of carriers at x naught. Okay? So that means net number of electron passing would be 0. Okay? Now the electrons moving from segment number 1 to 2. So as I said that 50% of the electron can move from segment number 1 to 2. So let us say that electrons moving from segment number 1 to 2 is, that means given by, it is half 1 by 2 of N1 L bar A, right? So L bar is again the mean free path, and A is the area of this bar, that is rectangular segment 1, area of rectangular segment 1. Okay. Now again, this can be checked through dimensions. We are trying to find out the number of electrons, and this N1 is electrons per centimeter cube, right? And L bar is centimeters and A is centimeter square. Right? So that means I have a centimeter cube over here, and if I multiply, just checking the dimensions, so this quantity has a dimension of, that means number of electrons only, because the L bar which is present in the numerator, so which has a unit of centimeter, and then you have area centimeter square, so these two cancel. So we are left with only the number of electrons. Okay? So dimensionless quantity, number of electrons only. Similarly, number of electrons moving from 2 to 1. So that can be given by, again, 1 by 2, because 50% can move towards left and 50% to right. So 1 by 2 N2 L bar A. Okay. And net number of electrons crossing this X naught is this minus this. Right. So that is actually 0. Net number of electrons crossing the plane X naught is 0. Okay. Now, one can also find out the electron flux density, right? So this electron flux density is given by rate of electron movement in time per unit area. Right? So electron flux density, for example, for electrons will be, electron flux density would be rate of electron movement, that is obviously del N by del T. This gives me rate of electron movement per unit area. That is del N by del T of del N by del T and A here. So this gives me the flux density of electrons. Okay, that is rate of electrons moving per unit area in any direction. Let us say we are considered about X direction. So one can write out the flux density, that is rate of electron crossing this X naught. So phi n X naught. So this can be given by, okay. So this can be given by, simply using this equation here. So here L bar and A are common. Okay. L bar and A are common over here. So in fact, if we write over here L bar and A, if we take common over here, so L bar A and 1 by 2 is also common. So 1 by 2, and then we get N1 minus N2. So L bar A, 1 by 2 L bar A, N1 minus N2. Now this can be related to, flux density over here. Here. So in fact, from these two, that is these two, one can write the overall flux density, that is rate of electron crossing X naught per unit area is L bar by 2 T bar, okay, because we have T also over here. Okay. So I have to relate this T to the electron mean free path. T bar will come here because I had T over here in the flux density definition. So L bar 2 by T bar N1 minus N2. Okay. Because delta N is given by N1 minus N2. Right? So Dn is N1 minus N2. Right? So this takes Dn minus N1 minus N2. Okay? And dt, for dt I introduce T bar over here. Right? So from these two you will get this equation. Now this N1 minus N2. So this N1 minus N2, that is electron concentration, the net carrier movement from 1 to 2 and 2 to 1 at X naught. So that can be further given by this relation, that is N1 minus N2. So N1 is the concentration of electron in the segment 1 at the center of this segment. Okay. So the segment 1 center, N1 is calculated over here. Similarly, N2 is calculated at the center of segment number 2. Okay. And let us say that center of the segment number 1 is X, right? So that is at X. So that means segment 2 center, that is this one. So this will be at, let us say, delta X. I mean, this spacing is, let us say, it is delta X. Okay? And this delta X is actually equal to the mean free path, L bar. Okay. So one can find out N1 minus N2 by considering the concentration of electron at X and the concentration of electrons at delta X, that is this point, right? So concentration of electron at X, N1, so that is given by Nx, okay, minus we have N2, that is concentration of electron at delta X. So we have Nx plus delta X. So N1 minus N2 is given as Nx minus Nx plus delta X, okay, in delta X region. Okay. This comes out to be equal to simply when delta X is very small. In fact, it is comparable to the mean free path. So one can write N1 minus N2, that is the difference in the concentration at edge number X and edge number X plus delta X. So that can be written as minus dnx by dx, this one, L bar, right? So this equation can be further written into this, where minus sign indicates that net motion of electron is from high concentration to lower concentration, right? So that is why we include a minus sign over here to indicate that the net motion of electron is due to diffusion in the direction of decreasing electron concentration. Okay. Now we put N1 minus N2 here in this equation. So once you put N1 minus N2 in this equation, then this can further be modified. Okay. So phi Nx, so that will become equal to minus L square by 2T bar dnx by dx. Right? So that is this you have to put, basically N1 minus N2, that is this you have to put over here. So obviously L bar is over here, L bar is also over here. So L bar becomes L bar square, and then you have 2T bar also coming here, and then dnx by dx. Right? So this can be modified. So I have electron flux density given by this relation. Right? Now this L square by 2 bar, L bar square by 2 bar, maybe I'll rub everything. Now this term, that is L bar square by 2T bar. Right? So if we replace this term by dn, so then this flux density of electron modifies to this relation, where we have replaced this L square bar by 2T bar by dn. Okay? And this dn is called electron diffusion coefficient. So dn is called electron diffusion coefficient, and it has a unit of centimeter square per second. Right? So from here itself one can find out L square, that means centimeter square, T bar in seconds. So unit is centimeter square per second. Now similarly, one can also write the whole flux density. Okay? Similar to electron flux density, one can also write the whole flux density as this, that is minus dp, diffusion coefficient of holes, multiplied by the concentration gradient of holes, that is dp by dx. Okay. Now one wants to now find out the current density due to diffusion. So some time back we had seen the total current density depends upon both drift and diffusion, right? So we had seen some time back. Now if we are considered about the diffusion part, okay? So diffusion part can be found again by saying current density. So this is given by I by A, that is current per unit area. And remembering that, I have rubbed, okay. And the flux density, that is what we have calculated over here. That is these two. Now flux density, let us say for electron. So flux density of electron is rate of electron crossing per unit area, right? Rate of electron flowing per unit area. So del N by del T multiplied by A over A in the denominator. So this is my flux density, that is del N by del T multiplied by A, okay, which we have calculated. Okay. Del N by del T multiplied by A. And the current density is I by A. Okay. So this I can further be written, I is Q by T, we understand. rate of flow of charge is called current. And if it is due to electrons, so we include the number of electrons. So this gives me current due to number of electrons, okay, flowing. So I can be replaced here. From here I can put I. So this becomes Qn by T times A. Qn by T times A. So this is my current density. So I can relate this current density to the flux density. So here you will find dN by dt, A. So this could be, substituted for dN by dt. That is this part. That is rate of flow of, in fact, this is also rate of flow. Right? So this is also rate of flow of electrons. So this can be replaced. So that means if I multiply this Q by phi, so that will give me the current density, right? So this is phi. So I can simply write this is equal to Q phi of N. So that is, if I multiply the flux density which I calculated over here, this by Q, so I'll get the current density. So that is what has been done over here, right? So simply copied this, that is flux density is minus dN d by dx of Nx, minus dN d by dx of Nx. Simply copied here, minus dN dx by dN, d by dx of Nx, and then multiply it with this Q. So you get this current density. So this current density comes out to be equal to, now, since electron has negative charge, so I include minus Q over here. So current density becomes plus Q dN by dx. Similarly, one can find out the whole current density. So this comes out to be equal to minus Q dP by dx. Now, since the current is due to both diffusion and drift of carriers, so we modify our total current equation due to electrons. So that has a composition which is over here, and from diffusion, which is over here. So the drift component we had already studied some time back. Maybe I'll show you where we had the drift component. I'll go back and let us see the drift component, which was sigma E, I think, here. Right. So this was my drift component, sigma E, or this one. For electrons, it is this much. Right. So the same thing I have copied here again. So the total current due to carrier now has a contribution from both drift and diffusion. So drift I have copied from the previous equation, previous class, and diffusion I have calculated over here. That is current density I have calculated here, this one, or maybe this one. So this comes over here. So now the total current due to electron is this much, and total current due to hole would be obviously equal to this much now. That is QP mu P EX minus, since it is minus over here, minus Q dP by dx. Right? Now the total current due to electrons and holes, right? Because electrons and holes both contribute to the current. So total current can be modified now. So total current has a contribution of electrons also and holes also. It is this JNX and JPX. Right? The total current is due to both the drift of electrons and holes and both the diffusion of electrons and holes. Okay. Now, another important point to notice over here is that the total current is always constant. So what does that mean is that, suppose for some reason there is a change in the gradient of electrons. Okay. So obviously, because there is a change in gradient of electron, diffusion current will change. Right. Now, since total current has to be constant, so obviously when there is a gradient, diffusion will start happening. So this diffusion will create an extra built-in electric field. That is, this electric field will be modified. Okay. So increase in diffusion is now counterbalanced by the drift, so that the total current is constant. In fact, the diffusion will always create a built-in electric field in a semiconductor. So that is why we say that total current is constant. That is, if there is any, because of any reason, the concentration gradient of electron or maybe hole increases or maybe changes, so this will have an effect on the built-in electric field. Okay. So electric field will also change, so that is drift component will also change to counterbalance the change in diffusion component, so that the total current is constant. Yeah. Now, let us further understand the diffusion and drift of carriers in just one picture. Now, here let us assume that we have a semiconductor. And let us say inside this semiconductor, I have the both electrons and holes are there, right? And the concentration gradient of electrons and holes. Right? So both are like this. That is the concentration gradient of electron. This is the concentration gradient. That is the higher concentration is at this point and lower concentration of electron. That is more electrons are present at this point and small number of electrons are present at this point. Similarly, high concentration of holes at this point and low concentration of holes at this point. Okay. So these two lines, they tell me the concentration gradient profile. Right? That is from higher concentration to lower concentration electrons. Similarly, holes from higher concentration at this edge, high concentration, and at this edge low concentration. And now let us also say that I have an electric field in this direction. Right? So this is my electric field in this direction. So now let us decide the diffusion and drift of electrons and holes. Now let us start with diffusion of holes. So obviously, since concentration gradient profile is from left to right, that is, it is more here and small here, low here. So obviously that means holes will flow from higher concentration to lower concentration. That is from left to right. Right? So that is why we have shown here that holes are moving from left to right by this dash arrow. Right? So this dash means movement. Okay. So holes are moving from left to right. That is from high concentration to lower concentration. So because the holes are moving from left to right, high concentration to low concentration, and we had already said that hole flux density. So that depends upon the gradient. Okay. So one can also write this gradient, the flux density is due to the holes moving from left to right. That is diffusion. Now, if we talk about hole drift, since electric field is in this direction, so hole will move in the same direction. So drift of hole will also be in the same direction. Okay. So both diffusion and drift of hole are in the same direction in this case. So because of diffusion, I have diffusion current due to holes and drift current due to holes. Since both are moving in the same direction, so current is also in the same direction for both diffusion and drift due to holes. Right? The current is from left to right, okay, because of diffusion of holes from left to right, and current due to drift is also from left to right due to the drift of holes along the electric field, that is from left to right. Just a second. I hope my voice may not be clear. So I forgot to maybe let us just a second. Huh? Okay. Okay. So I hope my voice is audible to you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So diffusion and drift of holes and the current due to drift of holes and diffusion of holes we had seen. Okay. Now let us talk about the electron diffusion and electron drift. Okay. So obviously electron will also diffuse from left to right, that is from higher concentration to the lower concentration. So I say electron diffusion. Electron diffusion is also from left to right. So electron is also diffusing from left to right. from high concentration to low concentration. Now electron drift due to electric field. Since electric field is from left to right, so obviously electron move opposite to the electric field we had seen. So electron will, that means drift from right to left. Right? So that is why we have shown over here electron drifting from right to left, okay? Or maybe flux density due to electron drifting from right to left is from right to left. Right? So electron drifting right to left. Okay, so diffusion and this drift of electrons. So both are in opposite direction. Okay? But diffusion and drift of holes, so that is in the same direction. Right? So this is a point to be noted. That is diffusion of electrons and drift of electron is in the opposite direction. So because of this, you will see that diffusion current. Okay? So diffusion current will be opposite to the diffusion direction of electron, right? See here. Similarly, drift current, so that will be opposite to the direction of drift, right? So these two things you can notice, that is electrons are diffusing from left to right, so current due to diffusion is from right to left. Similarly, electrons are drifting from right to left, so current due to drift is from left to right. So this is an important picture, and by this one can visualize both diffusion and drift of carriers, and the current densities due to them in the same picture. Okay. All right. So we had seen this equation, that is the overall current due to both type of carriers, that is electrons and holes, due to drift and diffusion. Okay. So due to drift, that is drift component is this one for both electrons and holes, and diffusion component is here. Right? Okay. Now now let us come to another important point over here, and that point is that the drift, right? So the drift component is directly proportional to the concentration of electrons, okay, or the concentration of holes. Right? The drift component is directly proportional to the carrier concentration. Right? So this is very important. Again, I'll repeat that the drift component is directly proportional to the carrier concentration of electrons and holes. Okay? Now, since in a n-type semiconductor, right? So let us say I had an n-type semiconductor. So in a n-type semiconductor, what are the majority carriers? So in a n-type semiconductor, what are the majority carriers?
Electrons.
Yeah. So in a n-type semiconductor, electrons are majority carriers. And what are the minority carriers here?
Holes.
Correct. So n-type semiconductor, electrons are majority carriers and holes are minority carriers. And the concentration of electron is much larger than the concentration of holes in a n-type semiconductor. That is, majority carrier concentration is much larger than the minority carrier concentration. Okay. And since the overall current, that is total J, so that is equal to the summation of these two. Okay. And since majority carrier concentration is too large, so obviously that means that this component, so this component will be very high compared to this component. So this will be very low, or maybe I'll use here this sign symbol, that is drift component is very large compared to the drift component of holes, because majority carrier is very large number of electrons. So that is why we say that the contribution of the current due to drift is only due to the majority carriers. Or in a n-type semiconductor, we say that current due to drift is only due to electrons. Though there is a contribution from hole also, but since number of holes are very small than number of electrons, that is majority carrier number of electrons n in an n-type semiconductor. This is very large than minority carrier, that is holes. So that is why sometimes, we would say that the electron, the current due to drift in an n-type semiconductor is only due to electrons. In fact, it is majorly due to electrons, because this is negligible. Due to holes, it is negligible. Similarly, the diffusion current, and you will see that diffusion current is proportional to the gradient of concentration or concentration gradient. That is, maybe I'll rub everything here. So the diffusion current is proportional to, or it depends upon the concentration gradient, that is this d by dx of nx and d by dx of px. So diffusion current depends upon or is proportional to the concentration gradient. Okay. Now again, in an n-type semiconductor, obviously I understand that majority carrier is very large than the minority carrier, but the concentration gradient. So this concentration, so this does not mean, this does not mean that the concentration gradient of hole is also small. So it is possible that concentration gradient of hole is significant in comparison to concentration gradient of electrons. Okay. So this number of majority carrier very much larger than minority carrier. So this does not mean that the gradient of holes, that is concentration gradient of holes, so this is also very small. It does not mean. Okay. So it does not mean that concentration of gradient will also be small. It is possible that this concentration gradient is comparable to the concentration gradient of electrons. So that means in some scenarios you will see that the current due to diffusion of minority carrier, so that is also comparable or maybe sometime equal to the current due to diffusion of majority carriers. Right? That is, current due to holes may be significantly maybe significant or maybe comparable or maybe equal to current due to diffusion of electrons, because concentration gradient profile, that is dP by dt, may be significantly large, right? Okay, let us see how much time we have. Okay, we have time. Now, let us say that, let me select a ballpoint pen. Okay. Now let us say that I have a semiconductor again, and let us say that to this semiconductor I apply some bias. Let us say at this edge I apply the plus terminal of a battery, and to the left edge we apply the positive terminal of the battery, right? So because of this, obviously some electric field will set up in this semiconductor. So let us say this is my electric field. So electric field direction will be obviously from, it originates at this positive end and it ends at or terminates at the negative end. Right? So we have an electric field profile which is like this in a semiconductor. Okay? So when we apply or when we set up an electric field. Okay? Now let us say that initially the band diagram, energy band diagram of this semiconductor was like this. Okay? Let us say it was like this, EC, and let us not comment on the Fermi level. Let us not say which type of semiconductor it is. So we are not drawing the Fermi level line over here. So let us say I have a semiconductor and the energy band diagram of this semiconductor is this before the application of bias. Okay. Now when we apply bias, so obviously because of this bias, the energy band diagram should also change. So how the bias or the electric field affects the band diagram. So that is what we have to understand. That is influence of field on energies of electrons in the band diagram. In fact, In the band diagrams, we have, these are the energies of the electrons. Okay. So how the band diagram changes when we apply bias on this or electric field. Now, because of the application of this electric field, okay, which is originating at this plus and terminating at this negative terminal, let us say this is my semiconductor. Okay. Again, the same semiconductor. And I have applied plus over here on the left side and right side negative. Okay. Now, the potential energy of the electrons. Okay. So let us say that we are concerned about the potential energy of the electrons. So the potential of energy of the electron will also change, and that can be also shown in the band diagram itself. Right? So the potential energy of the electron will change with this electric field, applied electric field. So how it will change? Since the so this will change, okay, potential energy of the electron. So you will find that at this point where you have the positive end connected, okay, so the potential energy will be different in comparison to this point where you have connected negative edge, that is electric field is in this direction. So the potential energy of the electron will be small at this point, okay, and the potential energy of the electron will be high at this point. So the potential energy of the electron is high at this point, okay, and it is small at this point, okay, because the electric field is originating at this point and it is ending at this point. So the potential energy of the electron is very high at this point and small at this point. Okay. Now that energy obviously can be related in the band diagram. In fact, the band diagram will now have a gradient because of this energy differences. Right. So the band diagram will have a gradient like this. For example, here. So this situation, in fact, this band diagram refers to this situation. Applied a bias or electric field. So because of this electric field, the potential of energy of the electron becomes small at this compared to this point. Here at this point, potential energy is large, okay, of electron. So the band diagram changes, okay, like this. Now one can relate the electron potential energy to this electrostatic potential. So sometime back, maybe we had studied that electron potential energy, that is E is QV minus QV. Okay. So from this, we have a relationship between electrostatic potential Vx and electron potential energy. Now, electron potential energy, that is Ex, so that can also be related to the electric field. Okay. Since E is given by minus dV by dx, okay, that is energy of electron is minus dV by dx because electrons move opposite to the applied electric field. So that is why we are using minus sign again over here. Okay. So electric field has a relation to electrostatic potential by this relation. Ex is minus dVx by dx and dVx is Ex by minus q, and E is the potential energy of the electron. So I have a relationship between the electric field setup and the potential energy of the electrons. So which says that at this point the potential energy will be small and at this point the potential energy will be large. So that means that the band diagram also changes with applied bias. Okay. So I have applied plus over here and minus over here. So that means the effect of this positive terminal is to push the band and the negative terminal. So the effect is to pull up the bands, right? So this can be remembered in this way that the effect of this positive terminal is to push the bands down, and the negative terminal is to pull up the bands. So one can write the same relation, that is this one. So again, I have written this relation over here, that is electric field is equal to minus dVx by dx, where Vx is the electrostatic potential. Now this inclination of the band diagram, that is this bending of the band diagrams or bands, so this can be related in reference to a reference point, and in this case let us select the reference point as EI. The bending gap reference to, sorry, bending of the band diagram in reference to some point, and that point is, let us say, EI. So this electrostatic potential can be related to now in reference to this EI, that is change in electric potential. Electrostatic potential is in reference to this reference point EI. Okay. So this equation now modifies, since electron have negative charge, so this now modifies, that is electric field, relationship between electric field and EI, that is intrinsic level, okay, or potential energy of the electrons. So I have this relation now. Now another important concept here in this band diagram, electrons are drifting downhill in the field, right? So obviously since field is from left to right, so electrons will move from right to left, that is they are drifting downhill in this electric field. Okay. Similarly, holes are drifting uphill in the field, so holes obviously move in the same direction, so holes are moving uphill along the electric field. Okay. So these two are very important observations, that is electrons move downhill and holes move uphill. Okay. Now this is also justified again, since we understood that the electrons will move, in fact both carriers will move from a region of high energy to low energy. That is, the electrons are moving from region of high energy to lower energy. Similarly, holes are moving from high energy to low energy, right? Since electron energies are increasing up, in upward direction, and hole energy is increasing in downward direction. So this is what we had commented some time back, that the electron energy, they increase in upward direction in the energy bands, and the hole energy that increases in the downward direction, right? So that means at the top of the valence band edge, okay, so at the top of the valence band edge, the hole energy is minimum. Similarly, at the bottom of the conduction band edge, the electron energy is minimum. So electron energy increases as you move up into the conduction band, and the hole energy increases as you move down into the valence band. And since the electrons are drifting from downhill, that is, obviously it is justifiable because electrons are moving now from high energy region to low energy region. Similarly, holes are moving from high energy region to low energy region. Okay. Another important concept here is that at equilibrium, no net current flows in a semiconductor. Okay. So at equilibrium, there is no net current flow in a semiconductor, because this drift and diffusion, they both balance out each other. So the drift and diffusion both balance out each other, and at equilibrium there is no net current flow. And let us say that because of some reason there is some diffusion. Now to counterbalance that diffusion, an electric field will be set up inside the semiconductor, or a built-in field will be set up inside the semiconductor, which will result into drift of carriers. So obviously drift and diffusion, so both will start happening and they will balance out each other. So there will be no current or no net carrier movement. Okay. So the current will be zero at equilibrium. Now another important point to notice over here is about the neutral regions. Okay. So let us say I have a semiconductor again, and let us say in this semiconductor I am able to produce electric field only in, let us say, this region in the center. That is, I have electric field now only present in this region in the semiconductor. So that obviously means that in these regions there is no electric field, or these two regions are neutral. Okay. So obviously the band diagram will change if I try to draw the energy band diagram of this semiconductor. So that will change, because in these two regions, that is region number 1, let us say, and region number 2, I have no electric field. 1 and 2 has no electric field, so they are neutral, so the band should be flat. So if I have, let us say, this was my original band diagram, okay, without any electric field. So now if I have electric field set up in this region number 3, so the band diagram will change. So how will it will look like? So let us say, so band diagram will change, and you will see that so now in the neutral region, that is region number 1 and 2. Okay. So these were region number 1 and 2. So since these were neutral, no electric field was present here. Okay. 1 and 2 were neutral, so the band should be flat. And in this region, the electric field was present. Okay. So that is why this electric field will change the energy band only in this region. So, or in fact, maybe you will say that this electric field region is for this. Okay. That is, this energy band correspond to this region. Okay. And the other two regions are neutral, so bands are flat in the other two regions. Only in this region, the bands are bended because of the electric field only set up in this region. These two were neutral regions. Right? So this was neutral, and this was also neutral. Okay. Maybe I think I'll stop here. So I'll stop here. And if you have any queries, then maybe you can ask. So if you have any queries, then please ask. I understand that you have a class after this. So from my side, the class is over. But yes, if you have any queries, then please ask.